You are tuned in to episode 53 of the Goodfellas podcast. G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. I got everybody's favorite partner in the building, man. Boxing First Vlog, aka the General, aka Blunt, aka Blunt Bayless. What is going on, good brother?
Oh man, just this boxing week, baby. You know, it's pay-per-view week. Let's talk about these numbers and see what we come up with.
Absolutely. Before we even get started, man, we probably gonna do something tomorrow. For the people that do not know, Boxing First Vlog is officially at 994 subs. So six subs away from 1,000. If he gets to 1,000 during this podcast, I will crack the bottle open live on the podcast for sure. But numbers is rising real fast, man, and he will be in the 1,000 subscriber club and hopefully before the night out. So congrats to Boxing First Vlog, well deserved. A lot of hard work, ups and downs, and all that. But getting to 1,000 is not easy to do, and it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
Facts, the guarantee definitely is there. That I mean, because you could stay idle for a minute. Don't mean people ain't really watching. It's just people probably just either not hitting the sub because they just on the flyby sort of view or whatever. But I think the work be consistent and some decent quality of work. I'm still improving in that side of the game, and obviously technically I'm improving. So the channel just gonna stay in motion, man. You know what I'm saying? 1K to 2K. You know how we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got the number one grinder in the building, man. What's going on with you, big bro? Yeah, but it's not easy getting to that number, and there's a lot of people that probably should be at that number and they're not at that number. So that's big news. Number one grinder said congrats to you, bro.
Appreciate you, family. Appreciate you, family.
Conrad family in the building. Said evening. What's going on with you, player?
What's up?
Willie G in the building. What's going on? She said, "What's up, fellas?" Willie G, what's going on, man? Family in the building, no doubt. But yeah, just just to kind of before we even get started, like I remember being really like at a couple hundred, and just for the record, Vlog got to 1,000 quicker than I got to 1,000. Like, let's make that very clear. It's not easy, and when they say like you gotta fall in love with the process and not the results, like that's 100% facts. Because at the end of the day, like it's if you're looking for the results, you probably would have quit a while ago, because people don't realize there's plenty times you recording videos, you don't feel like it. You on live, don't feel like it. You might be reporting on things that may not be important to you, but the public probably want to hear it. So there's a lot of different reasons why a person to just pick up and just leave doing this. But it takes a whole different type of breed to actually continue to do what you do and not knowing if you're gonna get recognized for it. But that's why when you do stuff because you love to do it, like that's the most important thing. So
yeah, that's what I said. If anybody tapping in that last video, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I really like you look at boxing from different ways. You can almost fall in love with it again. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying in my video, we're in a new era of this next gen sort of father handing the baton to the son. And I'm just like, yo, that's real solid business. I think it's happening more than throughout boxing's history, but it was just something that I thought I would tap into and share my 1-2 on it. So, you know what I mean? Just like I kind of look at boxing from different ways to try to keep it fresh or not be the same as everybody else. You feel me?
Right. VP Shane in the building, man. What's going on, bro?
Surviving. Has Blunt made it to 1,000 yet?
Nah, he at 994. So hopefully,
so what? Everybody in the chat just needs to go and subscribe, and then it's over the line. That's what you need to do, basically.
Yeah, Willie G said congrats.
Hey, check this out. Grab your girl phone, grab your mama phone, and go hit that sub button. I don't care how we get there. You feel me? We just
Yeah,
try
I
to get
feel you.
there.
We ain't getting off this live until it's on 1,000.
Man,
Yeah.
we gonna be here all night.
Nah, bro. These guys in the chat are gonna do it right now. Willie G, Conrad.
They already subscribed though.
You can
These day
Yeah,
ones in the
that's
chat.
family. That's day ones in the chat. They subscribed already.
Yeah, they tap in
Um,
with me on IG.
I mean, at the latest it'll be tomorrow, for sure. But celebration is in order.
Where's the
So,
champagne, bro?
huh?
Where's the bottle?
The bottle. I
Oh
think
yeah,
I
we
clocked
already sipping. I already
it's
told you
in,
it's coming. I'm already
it's in
sipping.
I
What
think
you
mine is in
drinking?
the closet.
What you
Mine's in the
drinking?
closet.
That VSOP.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just got a
that's
little.
not
I
that's
got
not, that's not my type of drink, bro.
yeah.
Well, yeah, this that grown man shit, baby. You know what I mean? This that grown man shit.
that's that put an afro on your chest shit. You know
Nah,
what I mean?
bro. But I drink stronger than that, bro.
What you offer out there? Y'all,
Bro, you
what
ever
y'all
heard of
drinking?
Ray before? You should know you're
The who?
Jamaican. Ray, you ever heard of Ray before? You're Jamaican, bro.
Nah,
You have
bro.
to. What?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not as tapped in with the family, like you know what I mean,
I get what you
traditions and
mean.
things
I
like
get what
that.
you
But I
mean.
know my heritage, though. I know my dad and uncles and all of that. I ain't gonna lie. Most I know about is jerk chicken, curry goat. You know, like just normal. Like you go to grandma's house and get a plate of that shit. But as far as
I get
like the
what you
real
mean.
red stripe, you know what I mean, got tapped into that, guineas, all of that sort of stuff back in my day. So, but I don't know about this new shot you talking about. You gotta definitely put your OG up on that one.
That's about 65%, bro.
Ooh, that sound like that Yukon Jack. That
Mm,
sound like
So,
that
so what's the
moonshine.
topic? What's the topic for today, bro? What we cooking on?
basically, Makabu squeaking out with a victory. Don King's event looking very YMCA ish.
How
And
much
only
tickets
reason
did that fight sell?
I have no clue. I have no clue. And it's no knock against the fighters. It's just you got to think about it. Don King was that dude. Like to literally see a guy that was on top of the world from a promoter standpoint to him charging, I think it was $40 or something like that
But you know the
for.
craziest thing, if I'm being honest, and I can speak for myself, yeah, sorry to cut you off, Jim. Everybody asks if someone asked me before, if there's one person in the world you want to interview, who would it be? And I always say Don King. Don King will be the number one person in the world I'd want to interview. So if I was in America, I would have gone to that fight, 100%,
But
100%,
I
and I
know
would have got
somebody actually went
I
to
would
that
have got
fight.
accreditations for that fight as well.
Yeah, see the thing with Don King is just this is the reason why some people be like, you rather, retire too early than too late. You know what I'm saying? Because he's really not a player like at
When did
all.
that change?
When did that
That changed
change? Go ahead,
with
Vlog.
the adventation of the internet. When you go away from that hard line cable, which his connections was to that, the telephone company people, that sort of route, which got him the pay-per-view via HBO and all of that. When we went to the quote unquote Wi-Fi era, and you based on a hard body connection, you're gonna lose that. You know what I mean? That's like if you buying, I'm gonna just keep it straight. If you buying naturally grown trees and you got to go to Humboldt County and make a pickup, but the homie got the shit in the goddamn fish tank in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? You gotta change your connection
I,
route up. You see what
I,
I
I,
mean?
I I get what you're saying, but at the same time, bro, like one thing about Don King is like he had a lot of fighters, but when did that cutoff point go? Like when did they go from okay, you had a stable of fighters to you had nobody?
No, I
When
can
was that?
answer that.
Yeah, when
I
was that
can
point?
I can answer that. So when Don King had his stable of fighters, you got to remember he had the network deals on top of that. So it was a combination of both. So a lot of his stable had to do like this how they used to do it back in the day. If you had like the guy, so back in the day, Tyson was the guy. You use Tyson's name to make the network put the rest of your roster on. It's kind of like what Oscar De La Hoya did with Canelo. Canelo got the big contract, but then because of Canelo, he negotiated a separate contract with his own just for his other people. That's what Don King did back in the day. Like he's the originator of that. So once he lost, it was a domino effect. So once he lost Mike Tyson, his other stable became less relevant because of that. And
When
because
did
of that, he lost the network deals as well. And
when did he
then
when did he lose Mike Tyson?
in the 90s, no, early 2000s, because
I
when
mean, did
he
he lose Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson got knocked out for the last time, or did he lose Mike Tyson like once he retired?
no, it was before that. It was before that. But see, it's when he lost them, but then his public perception. Public perception was Don King been lost Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? So that slope just kind of went like this. You know what I'm saying?
I equate to when HBO was taking a slide in boxing. You know what I mean? They started sliding in the early 2000s, and obviously who you're being fed by as a televised entity, that's going to take a slide. The product's going to take a slide.
I
The
mean,
production takes a slide. Then the fighting product is going to take a slide.
I,
And then Don, with his backdoor shadery, not paying people, starts becoming more and more known. Then you know
I
that
got
the Joe nobody knows is going to take a step back before Mike Tyson would.
I
Right.
got a question for you and Jeff, to be honest. Like boxing went through a dark ages, probably like what we say 2003, 2004 to about, let's say, 2009, 2008.
8, yeah, I go with 8.
During that period, unless you were Floyd or Oscar, you weren't really a
Manny,
big name. You weren't really a
man.
big. Well, Manny's more later, because even like early 2000s, Manny wasn't a name. He wasn't a name until later. So my point was, do you think that also contributed to it as well? Because at that time, the heavyweight division was the Klitschko brothers, so that was nothing. Welterweight was Floyd, and
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think the price of boxing for the casual was kind of out of pocket to be able to just see a good product of boxing. The way we kind of get it now, like you say, oh well, PBC don't put on good cards. It's good enough to keep the casuals tuned in to these guys that are kind of getting their names out there. So, but in the past, the Tuesday night fights wouldn't have carried you per se on a Saturday because of the name. So it's just the way that we changed from, like I said, the hardwire era to this new social media era and all these different genres. And then with Don, he just don't have that connection anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I
it's
get that
not no
now.
22-year-old dudes talking to Don's 75-year-old ass. You feel what I'm saying?
I
And
get that.
youngsters control the internet.
I get that now. I get that now. But like, let's say the early 2000s when we were in that dark ages, like, what was because what I'm struggling to wrap my head around is, at that time, was it down to the fact that there wasn't a lot of superstars in boxing, or was it a case of the interest, public perception wasn't there? I mean, what was it? Because
his his stable had no connections to the actual superstars at
not
that time.
not even just the state, Don King, though. I mean, in general, because he was a superstar at that time.
Well, that's the thing. You gotta understand where boxing was before that. So you were talking what Roy? You talking
Roy,
Roy and
Floyd,
Floyd, guys like that. So it looked like a major drop because that previous era was just stacked. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that previous era was stacked. So it's kind of like you know, back then, that was like the premium cut. Like that was like T-bone steak, and then a couple years down the line, they went down to maybe the best cheesesteak in Philly. Like, yeah, it's the best cheesesteak in Philly, but it's not that T-bone. Like, you know what I mean? So, I think it's just something that boxing goes through every once in a while. Like it's kind of like the heavyweight division. Heavyweight division was hot, and then we had to deal with the Klitschko era for a while. and then Tyson Fury came in, and Wilder came in, and you know what I mean. I just think boxing just has a downside, even when it comes down to divisions. Like 160 is on the downside right
Yeah,
now.
facts.
154 is kind of on the downside right now in terms of historic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's really nobody historic at that weight. And you usually see 147, 154, 160. There's always
But
historic people.
that's the thing about boxing, where we could say we have a downside in these divisions, but if you really look at it with a fine tooth comb, there's an upside, because there's a lot of guys that may be saying they at welterweight right now, but in 3 years they're going to be the guy at 154. They're going to be the guy at 160. So there's
That's a
still an
fact.
upside to boxing currently. Now back then, I'd have to really do some fine tooth comb reading to find out exactly who's the guys that were on the fringe but didn't get to turn star. Like, we'd have to do a little bit more homework, but we did have our Tuesday night fights. So where you did have your area fighters, you had your Omahas and you had your Nebraskas. So, I mean, they still got a little bit of shine, but it was on such a, USA Tuesday night fights. How many people watching that? How many people had cable back?
There was, what's it called? There was dudes like Cole who was there. There was dudes like, I'm trying to think. There wasn't many dudes in that era that I could think of that I could say was a superstar. I'm
telling you, you have like Michael Carbajal. He was international. You still had Chavez. Like finishing his legacy. Like, he was still around. He was that guy, but was he pay-per-view guy though? You see what I'm saying? So you still, we like Jeff said, you kind of having that change of the torch, and we did go through that like mid 2000s, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and that around that time, that's when the business model of boxing actually changed, because the all of your quote unquote superstars, you could find them on premium television and not on a pay-per-view model. So around that time, it was really Floyd was the one that actually got the pay-per-view thing and kind of took it to a whole another level. Pay-per-view has always been around, but it wasn't magnified until Floyd. Like, people don't know Cotto and Malignaggi was pay-per-view. People don't know that.
Let me drop a hint that people may not know. The first boxer to technically negotiate outside of the ring numbers was Jack Johnson when he took the fight in Australia for the heavyweight title.
No, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Backside radio sort of kickback from the radio people and things like that. So, and he did that himself. So big salute to Jack Johnson for even sort of setting the path for all his modern day outside the ring. Run me my money.
That's the difference. That's the difference between boxing and MMA though. MMA don't have no Jack Johnsons or anybody like that to push the envelope from a business and financial standpoint.
I mean, we had our Bernard Hopkins. You remember Bernard was a fighting man's fighters representative.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. So we've had that. What Jeff is talking about.
But even with B-Hop, like, I don't know because I'm not in America, but was he a superstar in America?
He carried for a good decade.
He was B-Hop has been a star for a very long time. B-Hop hardcore. B-Hop unfortunately was never considered until later in his career the superstar. Because of the era he was in. He was in the era with Roy. Roy was considered the superstar during that era. People really took a liking to B-Hop after maybe his late 30s or something like that. But like in his mid 30s to late 20s, he was the villain. He was a star, but he was the villain. He wasn't beloved until later on.
Numbers. That's what I
mean. He was doing numbers as far as HBO, but that era. So you're talking that B-Hop Roy era. If you look at it, Roy ain't doing
too. He also carried another network. He was the face of Tuesday Night Fights for about a good 5-year run. Towards the end of that,
Roy wasn't doing any pay-per-views neither.
They didn't have any pay-per-views. The only pay-per-view Roy did was I think the Ruiz fight was pay-per-view.
What a crap fight!
If he had, All
But
his
if
fights
you
is on
look at it,
HBO. All his fights is on
if you
HBO.
look at it, Roy had a HBO pay-per-view contract, so they paid him almost based on what would be average sort of pay-per-view sale, and then they got all the eyes on HBO. So you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what I'm saying. The model was different. The model
Yeah,
was
it was just a
different. So
different model.
it was this your you know how people Canelo, they be like Canelo the face of boxing, this, that, and the third, Floyd the face of pay-per-view, this, that, and the third. If you was the face of a boxing network, that was the equivalent of a pay-per-view star back in the day. You know
Because
what I'm
you got a
saying? Like,
6-fight, 7-fight
So
contract.
Hopkins was the face of.
Tuesday
he
night
was,
fights. Yes.
but he became one of the faces of
Then
HBO
he
as well.
transitioned because he was one that campaigned for guys that were actually good at the craft to start getting recognized. And that's when eventually he got to deal with De La Hoya, and they went into business together. So now he's on the backside, hopefully making sure his guys get paid right. You feel what I'm saying? So he transitioned to be one of the guys that he was campaigning against at the time.
I mean, I mean, it's again. I I I was born '98, so my like when you're talking about 2004, 2005, like
Yeah.
I'm really not following the business of boxing at that time.
Yeah. So your business of boxing is really was the Floyd model. That
Floyd,
was their
Floyd,
beginning of
Floyd,
your.
Floyd era. Bro,
Okay, so
I used to watch boxing, and like back in the day, they used we have a magazine called The Star, and they
mm,
used to give out these boxing magazines.
mm,
So I would have been about 6, 7 reading those magazines. I got some of the magazines still in my house, and I like a lot of these magazines. Like they would have some of the fighters, but a lot of the time we had something called Box Nation in the UK. So
mhm,
we got to see
mhm,
all of the American fights for free on Box Nation, but
correct.
the morning before, the morning after. So let's say
After. Mhm.
so I would see Will Floyd's fight the morning after. So like that's how it kind of started for me. But my first ever fight that I ever watched was Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. I would have been like 4 years old or something like that. That's my
Yeah.
or 3 years old, something like that. And I remember that fight as well. So I mean, when I started to like religiously follow boxing,
Mhm.
I would have been about maybe 15, 14 years old. So
So
That's
it's you know
crazy.
what, it's good to have, it's good to have that, you know, the different generations in the building, because it's like, so if you were introduced to boxing basically in that Floyd format, I would have to compare what Vlog and I used to watch to what's the equivalent of right now. So
yeah,
basically, Tuesday night fights, right? Tuesday night fights is on a channel called USA. So anybody that was a prospect or a guy that was connected with a promoter or manager and they had some type of juice, they wanted to get a guy a TV opportunity. They would go on Tuesday night fights. They would go on USA. That is the equivalent right now of Showbox. That's the equivalent of Showbox right now. Like that was Tuesday night fights back in the day. So you take Floyd and his pay-per-views and you know, the documentaries he used to do before the pay-per-views, things like that. When Vlog and I was coming up, that was basically um HBO. That was Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Miguel Cotto, guys like that doing 24/7s and stuff like that. That was the equivalent of what you see right now. That's what it was for
I
us
can go,
back then.
I can go back a little further than the homie because I was born when boxing wasn't really on TV. So when it actually came on TV, it was on ABC,
Correct.
Wild World of Sports.
I was getting
So
ready to go there. I was
every
getting ready
blue
to go there.
moon, like we
I
got Roy and Bernard first fight. It was on Wild World of Sports, ABC. So big shout out to ABC, the whole network.
so
You know, we all that was like where it came back because technically when dude got murdered in the ring, or not, he got killed. I wouldn't say he got murdered, but when dude died in the ring, they literally took boxing off because of that fight. So
so
it was off for a while, bro. You
that
talking about like 15 years, 20 years. I
so
mean, almost 20.
them fights that Vlog is talking about on ABC, Wild World of Sports. So Shane, that's the equivalent to PBC being on Fox.
I
Like
get what you mean.
main Fox. I'm talking I ain't talking Fox Sports 1. I'm talking like Um, I'm talking Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, that net like that mainstream Fox. That's what Wild World of Sports was. So I'll give you an example. So basically, Pernell Whitaker fought Roger Mayweather on ABC World of Sports, and that was Pernell Whitaker's 10th fight, 10-for-11 fight. So just imagine, and he that was a home game. That was a home game for Pernell Sweet Pea because that was in VA, that was in Virginia. So that just imagine, right? You have a guy. Let's just say your manager Pernell Whitaker. He's 10-0, and they say, all right, the 11th fight, you can get a home game, but that's you want to fight the Black Mamba. Like he was the original Black Mamba before Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And you say, yeah, we'll take that fight. That's the difference in the eras. There's nobody that's 10-0 that would take on a Black Mamba right now in this day and age. It's the equivalent to, remember how Terrence Crawford got a home game, but they put him up against Gamboa? That was a setup fight, to be honest with you. That was a setup fight. But they didn't know Terrence Crawford was that nice with it. That was a setup fight. It's kind of like Tank and Pedraza. That was a setup fight, but they didn't know Tank was that nice with it. You know
Kell Brook and Errol Spence.
Kell Brook and Errol Spence. But even with that though, like that was more of a mandatory. That was kind of like a forced thing. Like those are things, like those are fights where it was like people was just like, yeah, let's get that.
We're gonna say Bruce Goes in the comments. So
my guy Bruce Goes in the building, man. So Bruce Goes, you can definitely relate. Absolutely. He said, listening while driving. Salute to you, Bruce Goes, man. That's family right there for sure. Said Conrad, what's up? Grinder, what's up? Hold on. Said great history. Thanks, bro. Boxing First Vlog. He said they had KOTV once a month pay-per-view, Holyfield Foreman, Cooper Moore, Mancini, then Hogan. Good shit. Yeah.
No,
for sure.
Hold up.
For sure.
Let me tell you, the one that stand out for me for the back in the day, like we was talking 2000s when boxing started dying. After Chavez beat the brakes off of Haugen, I think it was a minute before we saw a big fight on HBO. Because I don't think just the general people really wanted to see that beatdown like that. Because it was real bloody. People were saying the fight should have been stopped. They said Chavez did it on purpose. When you have those sort of things that happen inside the ring, boxing does take a kind of a step back and takes a little bit of a momentum bump. It takes a jolt. So it could go either way with the casuals. And the way that fight was, because it was an international fight, Mexico. I can't, where the boy Haugen from, Germany or somewhere like that, or he was from over that side of the planet. But it was a big international fight, and he got roasted. So what I mean?
That happened over here once when David Haye versus Audley Harrison. They cancelled pay-per-view on Sky for like 5 years. There was no UK pay-per-views after that. Literally.
Why?
Because the ratings for that fight was so bad.
Wow.
It wasn't for the one the Haugen Chavez joint. It was just because of the brutality of it. You see what I mean?
But they were talking. They were talking that up too. Like they were talking that up like it was going to be violent.
The Haugen camp was bumping their gums. So a lot of it was karma, though. But at the same time, Chavez probably could have went ahead and got him out of there.
Yeah. Bruce Goes, another good point. Tuesday night fights USA. It's like Friday night ESPN fights every week. Yeah. That's why I was excited. That's why I was excited about when they did Ring City USA, when they put that on Wednesdays. I was excited about that, and they just stopped doing it. That's the problem, because the business model is so different now than it was back in the day. People can't survive just off of regular TV for long periods of time.
Was Mike Tyson on pay-per-view every fight?
Mike Tyson was on pay-per-view later on in his career. He was also the face of the channel. Like he was the face of the channel.
Like even in the 90s, like let's say early 90s, late 80s, when he was Mike, before he had a look, when he was a superstar, there was no pay-per-views at that time.
You was able to see Mike Tyson on HBO. He was on ABC and HBO for the free.
And he
for
was
the free.
getting what was his purses like at that time? I mean, before Don
His
King robbed
per
him.
I mean, before Don King, like he had I
Then,
don't remember the exact number, but he was the highest paid. He was the highest paid fighter in the sport. He was the
But
highest paid fighter in the sport.
Frazier's son,
what
I
how
think
are they
he's
generating
like
that money
25.
without pay-per-view?
So
Easy.
they were generating from a business standpoint, they were generating dollars because they were selling. So casinos was really big back then. Casinos was really big back then. So the site fees was huge. The advertising slots was huge. Um, the budgets for HBO and Tuesday night fights and things like that, those budgets were big, and everybody went to the same pot to go get their food. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody went to the same pot to go get their food, and everybody was eating from that same pot. Like nobody was really trying to like really take over the pot. So everybody was able to eat. That's why we was able to see Mike Tyson on regular HBO. We was able to see Mike Tyson on ABC. We was able to see Roy Jones every time he put on a show. But
Well, why does that not work now?
because Floyd, that's why I say Floyd is the biggest gift and curse in boxing history. He's the biggest gift and curse in boxing history. He's one of the most gifted fighters you'll ever see, period. But the thing with Floyd peddled that perfection thing. And the pay-per-view model was like, you can't see him unless you're paying $80. And once that happened, so you had a combination of him, like he did Oscar De La Hoya times like 10. You know what I'm saying? So it changed the business model forever.
It don't make sense to me because you're saying that the advertising slots and the ticket sales were high for these fights. So that's what was generating Mike Tyson type purses without pay-per-view. So why don't
Correct.
they just make the advertising slots and the ticket prices high? Or is the demand not
Because
there?
because with the advertising slots, and Vlog can attest to this, you never heard the cornermen in between rounds. You never heard the cornermen in between rounds because when them fights is on TV, they would run commercials whenever they could.
Oh wow.
In between rounds, you had commercials. After the fights, you had commercials.
For the
Like the advertise,
scorecards, all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
the
So why did
advertising
they go back
situation was
to that?
crazy because TV, you got people trying to cut their own deals and things like that. Like so,
The Zan
even
doing it now though. The Zan
this,
do it. They run commercials.
yeah, they run commercials and everything. But like, take for I'm trying to think, trying to give you a real good example. So take like HBO, right? Back in the day when Al was with HBO, like you would never catch an Al Heyman fighter on Showtime. Like you would never catch an Al Heyman fighter like on the Zone or something like that. Like back then, if it was a title fight, you may see somebody's fighter on somebody else's network if they're the mandatory for that title. And it wasn't no real rap about it. It was just like, yo, if you got to go over to the other network to try to get your title, that's what you got to do. It wasn't no big negotiating ploy. So I think it's just the difference in the difference in the business now is that everybody's seeing Floyd Mayweather actually maximize the money, like really maximize the money.
Okay,
And
fair enough,
people
fair
just
enough.
follow, they didn't see no other way to get it other than Floyd. And I'm like, that's where boxing took a step back because that took away the Tuesday night fights. That took away those ABC wide world of sports fights, things like that. Like take like Earl Spence when he fought who did he fight right after the Olympics was over? And he had like crazy behind numbers. That was
What Olympic?
when the US Olympics. And Spence fought like I think it was like after even a basketball team played or somebody like
What
that.
was he a pro at this time?
Yeah, it was right before he got his before he got the Kell Brook shot. He
Not
fought
Algerian.
was it it's the African dude. Um what was the African dude he fought,
I'm
Vlog?
literally trying to remember this dude's name.
Um see now I got
That was a few fights before Kilbrook.
That was a few fights before Kell Brook, correct.
I can't even remember
Um,
his
it
name.
was because he fought I think he fought
Was that dude natural 140 as well?
nah, he was 47. He
Natural
fought
47.
yeah, he fought I think he fought what's your face too. Keith Thurman too. I'm about to find out right now. But I hate
I'm kind of trying to find out of my memory without using like.
Leonard Bundu. Leonard Bundu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he fought Bundu during the Olympic, like when the Olympics was going on, and Al Heyman paid for a TV slot, and he did like 7 or 8 million views, like on that fight. But it was because everybody was watching the Olympics, and it was like, oh shoot, boxing. All right, I'll stick around and watch that too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just Floyd is part of the reason. The networks is part of the reason, and people just start cutting side deals within the networks, and that's the reason why the business model was changed, and that's why we kind of have it the way we have it right now. Like take like Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz, bro. That's a back in the day. That fight don't make it to ABC. That fight don't make it to HBO. That's a Tuesday night fights type fight. So the fact that people had to pay $40 for a fight that wouldn't have made it to vlog, am I lying?
But were people guaranteed purses back then, or was it based on the
Absolutely.
performance?
Absolutely. They listen, absolutely. Their purses was guaranteed. Their purses was guaranteed.
But that's why though, bro. Because at the end of the day, at that point, you didn't have inflation. The market right now is inflated.
And
But
a
the
lot,
thing
and
is,
back
go ahead,
then,
Lo.
fighters kind of wanted to get paid up front because they didn't know about the side deals and all of this last minute cancellations. So a lot of fighters wanted to get their money up front. So it was just self security in the game too, because you can go
I
through
get what
all
you're
that running
saying, but
around and the fight get canceled. But at least you got something. You feel me?
I get what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. With inflation, like the market right now, without a shadow of a doubt, is inflated. And the reason why it's inflated is because a lot of these dudes are under contracts where their guarantees are so high, as we keep speaking about. It
Yeah,
wasn't the
so
case back then.
yeah, so I can speak on that. So basically, um your guarantees back then were negotiated like with the channel. Like they were negotiated with the channel. So take like Roy Jones for instance. Roy Jones was the king of HBO. So if he fought like a mandatory or something like that, he knew he was gonna make X amount of dollars. If he was fighting a guy like a like a B Hop or something like that, even take like the Montel Griffin like rematch, they was gonna up them numbers. They was gonna up them numbers for Roy because they knew the ratings was gonna be there. So every single fight, you knew. So that's kind of like this. Like if you fight a mandatory Shane, right? Let's just say your average back then was between like maybe like 3 to like 4.5. Those big time fighters, they knew like if I'm fighting a mandatory, I know I'm not gonna get no more than 3.2, 3.3. But if I'm fighting like a unification fight or somebody big or like for Roy, like a John Ruiz, I know I'm gonna get that top end of the scale. Like it was a gap. It was a scale. Like it wasn't a locked in number. It was a scale based off of who your opponent was, what the projected numbers was, and everybody came to the table and was like, all right, this is what we can do. This is what we can promise you on the back end if we can get more than what we expecting.
But
Boom, boom, boom. So that's what that was back
that's
then.
not
Like
the
now,
same right now, though.
that's not exactly. That's not the same right now. So take a Gary Russell for example. Gary Russell, um, Gary Russell is guaranteed like 1.1, 1.2 million dollars, no matter who he
Yeah.
fights. Correct. So it gives the promoter no wiggle room. It gives the network no wiggle room. It gives the fighter no wiggle room. Everybody's at a negative with that.
I
Go ahead,
also
go ahead,
find
Flo.
it ironic that we are unable to see the fights the way we did back in the day with a flooded market. I mean, there is a lot of boxers. I
No,
mean, a lot of boxers. Social media tells us that there's a lot of boxers. See, back when I was coming up, you had a lot of guys in the gym. They weren't per se that guy or the one that they were building to be that guy. You only had a few of them. See, now you can go to a gym and it's 3, 4, 5 of them type of dudes. And then there's another 10 to 12 guys that got to work with them dudes. So it's a flooded market. Why? It's like, well, why is it so hard to actually see good cards that
So
don't cost us an arm and a leg, don't
my
take a lot of promotional build up to get? I don't know.
my question in, because I can answer that question, but in order for me to answer that, I mean, I would ask you then this: why give a guarantee so high when you don't know if that person can generate that money?
Before I answer that, let me get in these comments real quick because they're getting a little crazy. By Bruce Gold says Seattle, Washington. Will Stokes in the building. Big shout out to you, bro. He said if prime heavyweight David Haye was in the division now, how successful do you think he would be?
Not at all. You wouldn't be successful at
Are
all.
you talking? Oh, he said prime heavyweight. Now, if you said cruiserweight, that's something different. I'd have a different answer for you.
I think he'd be Wilder-esque. He'd have some good moments, but you know, he'd see a guy that he'd just mismatch against, maybe an
He'd be
age or something like that.
he'd be the same level as a Michael Hunter, or maybe he'd
Good
be the same
comparison.
level as a Michael
Yeah, I
Hunter.
mean,
Yeah, good
I'm not saying
comparison. He'd be.
power-wise. I'm just saying being able to be
He would.
recognizable.
Yeah, like
David Haye would be in that 15 to 20 range
I can
right
name
now.
8 dudes right now that I know he ain't beat.
Yeah, I would say he between like 15 to 20 right now. 15
I
to
mean,
20.
like
Yeah.
the likes of Hergovich and those dudes, Anderson and those dudes, he ain't beating, bro. Unfortunately, he just ain't beating.
My man Burt Wood in the building says, Shane, who am I? November 2007 became the undisputed world champion, retired in February 2009 with an undefeated record. And as a reigning world champion, my record is 46-0. That's for you, Shane.
And as a reigning champion, my record, he
Is
retired
40.
undefeated.
And you're right. February 2009 with an undefeated record. I was getting ready to say that. Will Stokes, what about a prime cruiserweight Haye versus prime cruiserweight? He be in top 5 right now. He be top 5 right now, cruiserweight. If we talking prime Haye at cruiserweight, top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 for sure.
Maybe top 3. I think
maybe top 3 for sure. Brendan Jackson in the building. He's talking about Ndongo. No, I wasn't talking about Ndongo, bro. Brendan Usyk was even nastier at cruiserweight. Yeah, he's filthy. He's filthy at cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Bert Wood said Joe Kawasaki. Yeah, we got. Hey, Bert, you gotta come a little better than that. When a question of yours and me and Shane get it, you gotta.
You can't come at me in this era, bro.
That's too recent. That's too recent.
It's too recent.
So to Shane, to answer your question, you want to repeat your question to the people before I answer it?
If you are in a situation where you don't know that you're giving a fighter a guarantee and you don't know that they can generate that sum of money. So in the case of the reference that you used, which was Gary Russell, whose guarantee is 1.1 million, why give a guarantee so high when you don't know if a fighter like that can generate that sum of money?
Vlog, I'm gonna go on a tangent, so I'm gonna give you an opportunity to answer first before I get the rolling.
It's sort of what Don King did. You kind of have access to something. You kind of have a plan to get something. So you go to both sides and you work the situation and you get both sides geeked up and everything's in motion until things start collapsing. So in our situation, he kind of has his hands in a big pot. So to make sure everybody's cool and there's no issues and to know that he can make big fights because he has a roster, I think he does it. So it can almost be like just say a good and bad thing. That's just the way I get it, why they do that.
Okay. So you didn't really start hearing about guarantees until Al really came up with PBC.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
So what happened was Al Heyman and PBC, they tried to corner the market. They tried to take over the sport. First thing, he took a little bit of Don King's formula. He had the biggest guy in the sport. He had Floyd. So everything was negotiated off of Floyd. So Floyd got him the HBO deal. Floyd got him the Showtime deal. Floyd got him, even when Floyd was out of the sport, the thought of Floyd coming back got him the Fox deal. So what happened
That's
was
why they
Al Heyman,
Pacquiao. That's
correct,
why they Pacquiao.
correct. So the thing with Al is Al, he tried to get all of these fighters to come over to his side of the street because not only could he offer you the money, he could offer you the network as well.
Mhm.
And then people were not locked in to their contracts in a way where they were back in the day. So it's shrewd business, but it's reality. A lot of the guys that Oscar had, Al stole them.
Al stole. That's a fact.
Al stole them.
That's a
Al
fact.
stole them. That's why when people say Al Heyman is this, that, and the third, that may be true, but I said they're all one and the same. They all shrewd businessmen. That's there's no color to shrewd businessman. Is either you a black shrewd businessman or you a white shrewd businessman. Like you shrewd at the end of the day. So let's keep it real. Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer stole a lot of those fighters.
Mhm.
Let's just keep it a bean. From a business standpoint, Gary Russell's not going to come to Al Heyman unless he's guaranteeing him something
That's
bigger than
that.
what.
That Golden Boys offering.
Correct.
I get
So he offered Gary Russell a couple $100,000 more than what
that.
Oscar and them was.
You answer the question. You answer the question.
You know
You
what I'm
answer the
saying? Like, so
question.
that's the problem.
But
That's
then
the problem.
subsequently, what went wrong? Because that model worked, but then what went wrong? I guess the competition. That's
So
because he had the market cornered at one stage. What
so it's
went
kind
wrong?
of so I can so if I I'll give you a prime example. So Gary Russell will always be a big name for me because he was the only person on HBO to ever have a main event and it was only 8 rounds. I'll never forget that. That's how powerful Al Heyman was. So when you're paying guys 800,000, $1 million to fight, the guy, the cashier at Chipotle down the street. When it comes, this is the flip side of it. Yeah, you're taking care of your fighters. Your fighters are eating well. This is the opposite of the Don King era in terms of people not getting robbed and guys actually eating. So if you're paying a guy $1 million to fight the Chipotle guy, down the street, when I ask you to fight a legit guy, they're gonna be like, "Nah, I need 2 mil for that." Yo, let's not even count the unification. They're gonna be like, "Yo, like I need 3.5." So with Al taking care of his fighters from a financial standpoint, he actually created a bunch of monsters. He created a bunch of monsters, and this is
And I guess the problem with that was after Floyd left, he needed a megastar or super fights. So you have one or the other. Either you have a superstar who sells regardless who they fight, or you have someone or you put on big fights. And as you said, if you put on big fights, the purses are going to be high. And the reason why that's so important is because when you're paying a dude like Gary Russell 800 to $1 million for the Chipotle dude, and then all of a sudden you see Canelo versus Golovkin. All of a sudden, us as fans, this mass understanding on basically what you said, us as fans are now requiring a higher standard of you as a provider of content. Because if I'm seeing Golovkin versus Canelo, if I'm seeing what can I say? What was those? Andre Ward versus Kovalev. What else was going on during that time? I can't even remember. There was obviously what fights were
We
going on?
had good ones. You had Tim Bradley and the boy. What's the Russian boy, Jeff?
Provodnikov.
Yeah, Provodnikov. So yeah, we was having some good fight, but which leads me to say this. That this is why we only see these dudes once a year. So you have a high pay rate. You have a big build up from the fans that want to see it more often. Then these dudes say, "Okay, I got to step up the competition." So it's like a circle. You know what I mean? So if the competition steps up, the bag got to step up. The fans gonna have to pay more. Right. It's like a merry-go-round with boxing.
The boxing business moved faster than the actual fans' dollars. And that's really what it came down to. Like, bro, that's in December,
what it is. They were trying to make fans in total pay $300 for boxing, bro. There was free pay-per-views in December.
Yeah, so think about it. So you even take this year, right? So if you are in the PBC realm, you had to pay $40 for
Ortiz versus
Charles,
Mo.
yeah, Ortiz versus Martin. Now you gotta pay 80 for Thurman versus Barrios.
That's 120.
That's 120 right there. And then I think they got another. Don't they got another pay per view coming up? Let's just say them two. Them
They
two.
did have Tank Cruz.
They just had Tank
They got
Isaac
me for about
Cruz.
250 last
That
year.
was 80. That was 80.
That was at
Yeah.
the back in that was in December. So
That
yeah,
was in December. So you take that fight. So that's 80. Then you take the Thurman fight. That's 80. And then the 40. That's 200 right there. That's $200 between 3 fights. And this is the discussion I be having with people. Like, you are basically like, if you know what boxing is, yo, and vlog, you can vibe with this one. You remember back in the day, like, cocaine was the rich man's drug, crack was the poor man's drug. Boxing is becoming the rich man's drug, because you got to think about it. Boxing is built off of like poverty,
hmm
really just really bad neighborhoods, hard upbringings, and things like that. These are the people that are the backbones of boxing. So you're literally asking those people to pony up $80 to go see a fight because somebody has too high of a guarantee. There's positives and negatives to the business of boxing. That's one of them.
it won't stay like that. The reason why I say it won't stay like that, and thankful for the fans why I say it won't stay like that, is because the models coming through now. If you look at the new promotional companies, the Zones, the Probellums, they're doing it very different to how PBC are doing it. Extremely different. Almost from a perspective of you have to be active. And in order for you to be active, you got to be getting a certain amount of money. So, like, you can't be getting these high paydays unless you're active. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at, let's use the example of Fury versus Wilder. Fury ain't getting 80 million from Top Rank unless those Wilder fights were guaranteed. You see my point?
Correct.
So you're not gonna see those high purses anymore. And
the one thing I could say with Dezan, you could find out what you got in one fight with a guy. You could tell what type of exception he's going to get, what type of build and momentum he can get. But when you fight with PBC and you get like a Sunday shot, or you might get a early Saturday afternoon card, and you actually have a good fight and you're a fighter and blah, 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 but you just don't get the look. So it's a little different when you're doing network deals compared to the streaming guys. They can actually know whether this guy is worth bringing back, or if this is a long-term situation. Do they got a star? So they're on a faster track to find out the next level guy, the next Floyd, the next Tank, that sort of thing with the streaming sites. That's just my 1-2 on the situation.
yeah, I mean, like, let me ask you guys a question, because I heard Bob Arum say something ridiculous. So I want to know how ridiculous it was. He said Fury and White does 500,000. I think he doesn't even do 100. What do you guys think?
In the States?
In the States. He said in the States.
I'll let you get at that first, bro. Go ahead.
It don't do 500,000. It might do up 50.
I don't even think it does 100. I don't even think it does 100.
No, your boy Dillian is like, and here in America we like boxing characters, and he is a boxing character. Whether we talk styles and all of that, a lot of the casuals here, they like the boxing, not like the goofy dudes, but just a guy that has some personality and things like that.
I'll be right back, bro.
Je ne sais quoi, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? So
you think it does 150?
I think it do $150. I think it do. Tyson Fury, you know what I mean? He gonna get a lot of support because of, you know what I mean, the persuasion of certain, you know what I mean, certain things that he brings to the table. If you understand,
how much did Wilder and Fury done? $1 million, right?
I don't know what them y'all. I always tell everybody, they want to know numbers, they better Google you or Google Jeff. I don't really I'm trying to get better with that, but I don't know. I didn't read, or if I did
Yeah,
read
from
it,
what I know, Wilder and Fury done 1 million. So if that done 1 million, I think most of that was down to the fact that Wilder and Fury had a actual what's it called? But I actually
that's a
I want Jeff
history.
to
They had a history, so
yeah,
the build
I
up
want
was
Jeff
already
to
there.
address something because you brought something up which I found interesting. You said Dylan White's a character. Why I don't think that's gonna come into play is because Dylan White don't look like he's trying to do no promotion for this fight, bro. I don't know, Jeff. You can adjust that for me. I don't know, bro.
That don't mean that what you already haven't done isn't something. And
I hear you. That's a fact.
contractually, again, he could be upset about numbers, things like that. You know, he might be like, "Fuck that, I ain't in a rush." But at some point in time, you're going to have to do it because it's part of the contract that you signed. There's no fighter that in this modern day is not signing promotional sort of base, enforced sort of things. That this is part of what you got to do to hype the fight, interviews, things like that. So he's the type of dude that's all right. Y'all want to be stupid? Y'all gonna wait for me now? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's it too. But not saying he's a character like a clown. Don't get me twisted. Just a personality. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
that's
we
a fact.
seen
No,
him
I know
in
what you
the
mean.
gym. You know, he's been interviews and commenting on Wilder and things like that. So he's been around without even having to be in a fight. You feel me?
Yo, you know the thing that's funny is it's funny that matter of fact, let me get through these comments real quick before I answer that question. Adari Pennant, what's going on with you? Jared Anderson versus Trezor would be interesting. That's a good fight.
Yeah,
That's a
definitely.
good fight. Burt Wood, LOL, Fury versus White. A fanboy said all the judges are gypsies. That's the excuse before the fight that Fury will win.
I mean, the
Um,
fight's gonna be in the UK. The British
yeah,
Boxing Border Control hate Fury, so I don't see that
yeah,
happening at all.
right. They would rob him more than anything. My God, Tree James in the building, man. Tree, condolences, man. I know your people's just passed away, man. Condolences to you and your family, man. I know you fighting in the next couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because Tree asked me to be a sponsor for his fight. I told him I don't sponsor family. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm gonna send you a couple dollars, I'm gonna send you a couple dollars off the strength. You understand what I'm saying? So big shout out to Tree James, man, that whole crew out there in Iowa and all that. Burt Wood, pound for pound, COVID keeping people home. Even sports bars are scared of COVID. We gonna get into that in a second too. I'm gonna wait for Shane to get back because I actually want to answer. I want to answer his question directly. And it's a good question. First of all, it's not doing 500,000 in the states for one reason and one reason only, and that's because it's going to be an afternoon pay per view on a Saturday. It's very hard to get the U.S. fan base to actually buy a pay per view on a Saturday afternoon. For that reason alone, it's not going to do
Can I
500,000. Go
can I
ahead.
hold up? Can
Go
I
ahead.
against you just on one? There's no football. It could actually pick up a few extra just sports people, not per se boxing people, but just sports people because there's nothing on Saturday afternoon.
I
Just saying,
that
they might
no, that's
playoffs kind of round it up. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said I thought $150. I didn't say no astronomical 400,000 or nothing, but I was just saying
I
like it's the afternoon, but I'm just trying to go against that time zone thing. It's not a lot going on. You're still gonna have people home, or you know what I mean. So I
yeah.
think they might actually kept a couple bodies for that.
Yeah, I think and that's true by the way. That's true by the way. If you're gonna put on a card at a Saturday afternoon, late April would be a good time for it because you're avoiding, the NFL and things like that. You're avoiding certain things. So me personally, I think um I think that fight in the States does I think it does between 100 and 150. I think it does between
Bro, you
100
got
and 150.
I mean, you guys
Um,
have more because I was looking at Tank didn't do 100. Um, Postal versus Crawford didn't do 100. Crawford versus Porter only done 130. So I'm
yeah,
thinking, how on earth is two fighters not from America gonna do pay-per-view numbers?
so it goes back to this is why I say that old saying that if you want to become a superstar, you got to come to the States could not be more false in boxing. It could not be more false in boxing. There are guys, and I'll give y'all some examples just to, and I, for the people that's listening, this is basically turned into a history show. So if you just into boxing, like just kick back and listen. And we almost never do this. But this is where the talk is taking us to.
I'm really educated by these two. I'm doing the educating normally. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
So this is more of a history thing for us, man. Like, where, you know, people in the UK, they think they got to come to the States to become a superstar. And the thing is, they don't realize so we can all agree Boots is one of the hottest names in the sport.
Facts.
But I can guarantee you Boots is not selling out the third biggest arena in his own city. I can guarantee it. You take a guy like take a young cat like Raymond Ford. We all like Raymond Ford. Go ahead, Vlog.
See, I don't like Boots as an example because you know how the city is, bro. We're not that type of city. We're not Cleveland, Ohio, in Akron, or nothing like that. Philly is a different breed when it comes to
putting their hand in their money pocket, putting their hand in their pockets.
But I'm gonna tell you why it's a great example. If it's somebody from the UK and you mention to a UK person, mention the 5 places that has the richest tradition in the United States of America, Philly is going to be in the top 5. Philly's going to be in the top 3.
Hold up. You talking 2 different things. We talking fan base. Like Philly doesn't produce like a lot of the support for actual Philly sports actually comes from outside the actual city. The inner city isn't
that's true.
Just talking about the narrative. He's talking about public perception.
You're right. You're right, but that's not the angle I'm going with it. You are correct though. Like we all know that because we're in the States, we're in the city. I'm talking about somebody that's not even from this country. If I was to tell a guy that lives down the street from Shane that give us a real popular fighter in the UK, Shane, that's going to sell out every single time.
Dylan White.
Okay, so that's like me walking up to a guy in the UK and I tell him, yo, if Dillian White does a show, Dillian White may sell 70% of the seats. What's gonna happen? They're gonna look at you like you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because Dillian White's that dude. Boots in Philly is that dude. So the reason I use Boots as an example is because you have to give a whole different explanation for a Boots situation.
Forget Dylan White, bro. Conor Benn sold out a stadium in a city that he's not even from.
Right. So I use Boots as an example because your name being hot in these streets in the US does not equate to dollars. In the UK, in other places, it equates to dollars.
That's my point. That's my point. Why I didn't think Crawford only done 130,000, but you think Fury's gonna do over that. That's my. So now I understand.
I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you why I think it does between I'm gonna say $1.25 and $1.50. $1.25 and $1.50. People in the States know Fury. They know Fury because of Wilder. So if it's a time they're gonna spend a couple dollars, it's gonna be in April when there ain't nothing else going on. And like Vlog said, it's some opportunities for some casuals to get in on that because Fury's name is hot in the States because of Wilder. It will forever be hot because of Wilder. Go ahead.
I gotta say that those guys could be bigger sellers within their vicinity because again, they don't have a lot going on like we have here. You guys got the football or the soccer, whatever y'all want to call it, the pitch or whatever all that is. Y'all got that
real football where you use your feet, not where you use your hands. Football. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, but that y'all have that sport and y'all have nothing else. So I could see where boxing they could get that same group that'll go follow a boxer. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Right.
to the ends of the earth. So with us, we kind of can diversify. You might have some guys in Philly that know Boots, don't say they gonna go spend $35, $40 to go see.
Yeah, I said that. I said that in the previous live.
Yeah, you know
I said,
what I'm saying? But
yeah.
because they're a basketball guy, really. You see what I mean? So like Philly's a different. Yeah,
but that's my point though. That's why I said that saying is the most inaccurate statement when it comes down to the sport of boxing. Because think about it, when has a person not from the States has come to the States and become a superstar? I can think of one, and it was a very long time ago.
I mean, Manny,
Duran.
I wouldn't even say Duran. I wouldn't even say Duran. The top two people I'm thinking of that came to the States and they became superstars: Manny Pacquiao, Prince Nassim. Those are
what about Oscar De La Hoya?
But Oscar was in the States. Oscar was in the States.
He's from Mexico, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's been in the States since the amateurs, though.
Oh, fair enough.
He's been in the States since the amateurs. Oscar. He's been in the States since the amateurs.
I said Chavez.
I know. He said Oscar, but he said Oscar before Chavez. About Chavez Senior?
That's when you go in to show the baby milk you still drinking, and you expose yourself right there, young buck. No, I'm fucking with you.
Yo, the thing is, but Chavez Senior was a superstar before he came over and started making his claims in the States. Though he was already you know what I'm saying? Like he was already a superstar. Like I guess you could throw Canelo in the mix. Yeah, you could throw Canelo in the mix. You know, I would say
anyone from Mexico doesn't count because Mexico and America is the same thing.
Yeah, they in terms of boxing. But
the reason why I say that is because the migration, bro. Majority of the people that's buying pay-per-views for Canelo are Mexicans who are just from America. So it's migration, bro. It's like if I go and watch Bolt, I'm gonna watch Bolt because he's from Jamaica and I'm from Jamaica. I ain't because I'm British, bro. Do you see my point? Like the general man isn't watching Canelo. It's a Mexican dude that's watching Canelo. There's just a hell of a load of Mexicans in America.
I mean, they set the planet, you know what I mean? So I ain't mad at him for supporting the guy. I just hope, he stay clean and he give us an honest fight. That's all. That's all I hope.
So, Jeff, what do you think? Dylan White's gonna do some promotion for this fight?
Absolutely not. And I actually wanted to get into that. And I'm glad you said that because it's funny how the discussions I have with Vlog off camera ends up being on camera, and the conversations I have with Shane off camera ends up being on camera. Vlog, just to put you on, like Shane and I was talking earlier, and we was talking about how Dylan White has been relatively quiet.
Yeah,
he's been relatively quiet.
Was basically saying, we hope he decides to turn up and promote the fight and help promote the fight. He's getting paid a lot of money, so he was basically almost pleading for this dude to at least try to
promote the fight. So
that's when you're the true A side, where the actual selling market is happening. So
Vlog,
you're
that's
not
bullshit.
He must know something if he's not out there acting like us to get the numbers up.
Watch how.
Let me finish. So you said, so why would he be not promoting the fight? It's just he's contracted. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes,
no, he's not. But he's just contracted to fight. That's all he's contracted.
I'm gonna. Usually I would set up a ditch for you to walk into, but I'm actually gonna grab your shoulders and I'm gonna keep you away from the ditch on this one, right? So I'm gonna give you a prime example that the OGs would understand. So if I make $1,000 and I'm only giving you 200 out of the 1,000, but I want for you to promote this product and pump this product up like it's nobody's business. I'm getting $800 out of the 1,000. You only getting 200. How much energy you actually gonna put into that if I'm only giving you $200 out of a stack?
You better sell that shit yourself.
Now keep the being with me, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're only paying me to promote, that's different. That's why I said he's the person that's like, okay, I'm getting whatever's contracted, the 8 million, 8.5, whatever it end up being.
Let me throw this by you. if you had to go through hoops for me to give you that 200 out of that 1,000, how much promoting are you actually doing?
I might do less.
Exactly.
You say it that
So
way,
think
but
about
just
it.
in
So
general,
think
I'm
about
trying
it.
to rationalize it from
Right. So
like
think
he,
about it, bro.
as Shane said, they don't have to promote. Maybe that's in the contract.
Right.
He don't have to say a
Right.
word. I don't know
So-
that. Over here, guys usually try to converse, interviews, things like that. They put shorts out, all this kind of stuff. So it's different here as far as promotion. I think that's a lot, especially for a big fight. It's just
No,
part of.
but
Let me-
this is a good question that YSM asked. He says, "Do fighters get a percentage of pay-per-view if the fight goes to purpose?" No, and
They
that's
don't.
why all the back-end
Right.
money is for Top Rank
It's
and
for
Frank Warren. So
Right.
right now,
That's why
like,
I said he's not going to do it. He like, man, fuck that.
But that's exactly that's what I was getting.
Literally.
That was the point I was getting ready to make. Like, he's not guaranteed no back end money. They was only trying to pay him 20% as is.
His
Then on top of that, they
8.5
let
is
him
guaranteed already. So
his 8.5 is guaranteed already. So he's like, yo, I'm not gonna help y'all get in the green. I'm not gonna help y'all get in the green. Y'all done made me fight tooth and nail for the title shot to begin with. Then on top of that, y'all only gonna throw me 20%. I'm gonna throw the headphones on and the shades like Deontay Wilder did, and I'm just gonna sit in the press
tell that
conference.
shit yourself.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. That's a twofold scenario that could work against him because he could be psychologically on another plane as far as this outside of the ring bullshit. You take that into the fight, trouble. On the flip side, they could hold up. Let me finish.
No, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you,
It
bro. I'm
could
with you.
hurt Tyson Fury because he's gonna have to work double time to hype the fight, always stay talking shit, running down the hallway, the Gypsy Gang, and all of this shit. And this, you know,
I agree more with the second one than the first one, purely and simply because if you can't use any mind games, Tyson Fury likes to use mind games and shenanigans. If Dylan White says, you know what, I don't even want to turn up to the press conference, I don't even want to turn up to nothing. You don't even. If you go on Dylan White's Twitter and Instagram right now, he's still got the poster of him versus Otto Wallen, bro.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Bro,
Like, that's what I'm
does not
saying.
care. He don't care about
that's what
this
I'm
fight.
saying,
Like,
bro. No, but don't you feel me? Where though it can hurt Dillian because he's caught in this sort of old, you know, toddler sort of. I pushed you, you pushed me.
I don't think so because the thing is, when Wilder did it to Fury, nobody had a problem with it. Nobody had a problem with it. Everybody said he was focused, right?
I'm not saying it's a problem, bro. I'm just saying like where it's a sort of scenario that can hurt each fighter. Where it's not like you kind of got a guy where you can read each guy like, oh, this guy's overly hyped. He's coming in too cocky. This guy's kind of
you could say that by him not attending these press conferences, by him not attending these like 24-hour gyms, he could just be focused on camp. And he don't care about anything else other than just being focused on camp.
Again, at the same time, I'm not denying that either. I'm just trying to look at it from all the angles of two guys that's kind of not supporting this big fight. It's a world title fight.
I mean, Frank Warren is scared because he's got a dude. And if you watch the interview he's done with IFL today, like you got a dude who hasn't done a pay-per-view or a headline event in the UK in 4 years. And when he did do it, he didn't sell any numbers. And then you got another dude who's done 5 back-to-back pay-per-views all over 300,000. And he's sold 20,000, 50,000, 30,000 in his last few fights. And he's not doing any promoting. I mean, I'm not going to lie. And I just put 41 million into this fight. I'm trying to see green.
Can I say something?
I'm trying to see green.
That's bad fine print to your contract. You should have known that's what you're dealing with. A guy that had a dispute, a guy that was, you know, dealing with WBC. We got to put something in ink that help to generate the money we're expecting to make. You understand what I'm saying? If they didn't put anything in, that's their fault. As Frank Warren, Bob Arum, and them kind of guys. But and it's funny that Bob said the same thing about Bud. Well, a guy that just don't nobody know, you know, kind of like social media dead is basically what Bob was trying to say about Bud. Like he didn't have a social media persona like that. So basically, he's saying you're not promoting yourself. All right.
Well,
Bob and them find themselves with the shoe on the other foot. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all didn't take that.
So can I I actually want to add on to what you said, Vlog. So you take the Terrence Crawford example, right? Think about it. Outside of Manny, who was Bob Arum had that was doing major numbers? That's a question.
Audley. I don't know.
so when Bob Arum says that about a fighter, right? You got to take it with a grain of salt because his promotional company has never been based off of the pay-per-view sale.
Yeah.
So when he says Terrence Crawford is not a pay-per-view star, sir, how many pay-per-view stars have you developed? Floyd left because you couldn't turn him into a pay-per-view star. Oscar left because you couldn't turn him into a pay-per-view star. I can go on and on and on. So he's throwing Terrence Crawford into a pot that has two of the greatest earners of all time. They were in that same pot. Because you have to go outside of your scope in order to get those Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman type dollars. And go ahead.
So, Blunt, if you were in White's situation, what do you do?
Oh, I wasn't done, brother.
No, go continue. Sorry.
Yo, but this is the thing though. Like they were all in that same pot. They were all in that same pot, and the only common denominator is Bob. He's the only common denominator. I'll even take it to recent. Vlog's favorite fighters, the DiGiorno brothers. What is
Joseph
first
and
name? Joseph and Jeremy. Joseph and Jeremy.
Adorno.
Adorno. Like their contracts expired with Top Rank, and Top Rank didn't re-sign them. Edwin Elvis Rodriguez took a loss. He dropped him. So Bob Arum doesn't do a good job at getting guys to the pay-per-view level because his model has never been that.
Or Mikey Garcia.
Gilberto left.
Mm-hmm.
All of them left for the same reason. Like Bob Arum has an old school HBO Tuesday Night Fights type platform type thing, and the business model is going beyond that. So it's hard for him to have guys like Oscar, Floyd, guys like that. It was amazing that he had Manny for so long, but Manny was bringing him numbers.
Manny's Fury now, though.
But Fury wasn't doing numbers until Wilder came along. He did 3 fights where they were giving away tickets. They were giving away tickets.
He still has action at they've done it once or twice on ESPN Plus where they made you pay extra cost $29.99 or something.
But you never see the numbers though. You never see the numbers.
Yeah, I give you that. But I mean, I'm just saying there's like he's trying to, or they're doing something with the addition of the app stream for ESPN to give them another genre to generate income because it is a basic platform for boxing. I think he's just a guy that don't really want to invest in nobody long term. I think he honestly held on to Bud longer. I don't even think he wanted Bud to resign. And Bud resigned.
He held on to. No, well, he wanted him to resign because he offered it to him. Like, he wanted him to resign.
I mean, at the same time, almost like you offer somebody something that you hoping they turn down. You've done it yourself. Come on now.
Well, I mean, but if that's the case, though, then you really lowballing. Like you really lowballing. Like he basically gave him the same contract Tim Bradley did.
Do we know Bob to pull Heyman type shit? I'm going to break the bank for you.
But at the same time, if you don't want somebody to re-sign, you make the offer low enough to let them know, like, we putting this out here just for PR, but we really don't want you.
Again, I don't remember what those numbers was from back then.
He has the same contract as Tim Bradley. His guarantee is like 4 and some change. His contract is no different than what Lomachenko's is. His guarantee is like 4 and some change.
No, I think Lomachenko's 2.
Nah, his joint is like 4.
4 million.
I remember his guarantee was like 2 million before the Teofimo fight, bro.
No, it was more than that.
Bro, it wasn't. Because I remember that's why Teofimo was trying to get extra money on that fight, bro.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Tiafimo got offered 1.8 because Lomachenko was getting around 4. That was his problem. That was his problem. It wasn't a 2 mil, 2 mils. It wasn't a two. Each of them wasn't getting 2 mil a pop. His guarantee wasn't 4. It was high threes. It's high threes. It was high threes. But that was Tiafimo's problem. So once he went public, then Bob Arum was like, all right, we'll take this 1.1. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is this Bob Arum a different breed though? He a different breed. Like, that's why it's kind of hard to say Buzz not a pay-per-view star because his motto has never been that. So it's kind of like if you don't know boxing or the business of boxing, you're gonna get away with that comment. You're gonna get away with that.
You know where Bob get that from? He get that from running around with Ali. Do you see what Ali is? The I don't want to use the word character because Shane had me misconstrued with that word earlier. The presence of Ali did for boxing. You didn't even have to sell. He didn't have to sell himself. People just wanted to come see him because they heard his voice out the corner of their ear and was like, hold up, I got to bend this corner and go see who talking. Next thing you know, they have to fight because that was the sort of persona that he gave out. So I think Bob is so used to that with these young cats that are up under his umbrella that it's almost like you should be selling yourself. I shouldn't have to do nothing but just put the lights on and set the ring up.
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
The comment.
I think I'm missing one. I'm missing 2.
No, we're missing a hell of a lot, bro.
You on Facebook? They on Facebook with that? They don't like the old school.
90s, 80s, 190s, 180s should be light heavyweight, and just get rid of the cruiserweight division because majority of them are heavyweights.
You can't do that now when you got fighters like Fury that's weighing 270, bro.
Yeah,
if he's weighing 195 or something like that's way too heavy.
Yeah, I like it the way it is, bro. Anui receives Japanese Fighter of the Year. I mean, who else is going to run against him? You know what I mean? Burt Wood, I am 67. I bought Mayweather Conor because I wanted to see one lose more than when the old days Mike Tyson would knock a man out before popcorn was done, $49.99 for 2 rounds. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. You know what I mean? We read that one, but no, YSM, they do not get back in. Edwin Castillo, what's going on, good brother? YSM is shocked. Said G5, best fighter I ever went to was best fight I ever went to was a hockey playoffs 2004, Flyers versus Tampa Bay Lightning. Those Flyers fans was crazy. Even Philly football, there was a jail in the stadium, so that's how I know you know Philly. That was old veteran stadium where the Eagles used to play, and where the I think where the Phillies used to play. It was so many people that was getting locked up. They actually had a jail inside of the stadium with a judge and everything else. So yeah, that's Philly for you at the end of the day.
Blunt looks like he's been in that jail a few times.
No, bro. We used to sneak into Vet Stadium to see some of the games, like especially the big college games that used to come to town. Not really the Eagles game because security is a little bit later then, but we used to sneak in for some of the big college football games that came into town. That was the best stadium back then. So yeah,
and
I mean, I
that's
know
a lot of that's a lot, and that was a reason why they had that courtroom in there because a lot of guys used to sneak in there to see those joints.
At one time, it was the raggediest stadium in NFL
in the country, hands down, like in the country, like it was crazy.
Philly, hard city, boy.
Philly hard, yeah, for sure. Edwin Castillo, Shane, you said this is one of the biggest fights, but who's gonna buy it? Fury is not a huge pay-per-view draw, is disliked in the UK. Hate him for things he said in the past. Also, I heard Ireland, which does have Fury fans, can't view it.
Go ahead, Shane. Firstly, this was before I realized Dylan White wasn't doing any promotion for the fight. So that's the first thing. And then what you gotta understand is Parker versus AJ done 1.7 million pay-per-view buys. Parker versus AJ. And I mean, to me, I'm just thinking that's just gonna do way more than that. Way more than that. And I'm just thinking, like, I can't see how Tyson Fury in a homecoming fight. It's an easy fight to promote if the dudes are willing to promote the fight. Because they're gonna do a lot of trash talking in the press conference. Both fighters talk trash, and the build-up's gonna be big. This is the first fight for Fury in 4 years, and Dylan White's first title shot. There's a lot to build off on. But honestly, I still think historically it's the biggest fight in the UK. But
Can I ask you a quick question?
go ahead.
Any way that Eddie and them lose money without promoting by Dillian White is so there's no repercussion from Dillian White's side for not promoting.
None whatsoever, bro.
Nah.
None.
No.
I mean, that's
There's
crazy. Because if I was
That's
Eddie,
why-
I'd be like, man, you don't get up off your shoulders. Because Eddie in the media be talking. Eddie be running his mouth.
Can
He
I-
making sure
Can
But
I can I
Go
ask y'all a
ahead.
question?
Go on.
I'm gonna ask both of y'all a question. I just thought about this. What's the chances of Eddie Hearn saying, "Yo, Dillian, we just gonna be quiet"?
But I mean, because Eddie Hearn for the first time hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything since Friday, and I'm thinking to myself, we're now Monday, and this dude hasn't said anything, hasn't posted anything, and I'm thinking to myself, Dylan hasn't said anything, Eddie hasn't said anything. Then Frank Warren comes out today, almost begging and pleading for Dylan White to promote this fight. I'm just thinking to myself, bro, there must be something that we don't know. He's obviously nervous that Dylan doesn't do any promotion for this fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an interesting situation to say
But-
the least.
but
Let me
you're
get
right.
this last comment out the way, bro. Let me get this last comment out the way. Oscar, Floyd, and Pac, others except for Bud, have become the biggest stars thanks to Top Rank as a platform. That's actually inaccurate. Edwin, that is inaccurate, and I'm gonna tell you why. Top Rank got them to a certain point. They couldn't get over the top until after they left them. So
I
is
mean,
Top Rank a part of the process? Yes.
Pac went over the top because of Floyd. Just because of that Floyd fight. Just because
But
of Floyd.
Pac was doing numbers before Floyd, though. He just
And it
capped
was
out.
on Top Rank. It
He
was at
capped.
Top Rank.
It was at Top Rank, but he's the only guy. He's the only guy. When you think of Top Rank and you think of pay-per-view, Manny's the only guy that did consistent numbers for a long time. That's it. All right, that's just a fact. Top Rank gets you to a certain point, but then you got to make another move to get over the top. It's kind of like I'll give you an example. The Rams, they had Jared Goff. They got to the Super Bowl. They lost. They felt like they maxed out with him. What did they do? They had to level up. They had to get over the top. So they went and got Matthew Stafford. Now they right back. And you see what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have a person can get you to a certain point, but you got to get that upper echelon guy to take you over the top. And that's this situation. So Edwin, you're partially correct. But Top Rank had a part in the process. But no, like Al is what got Floyd over the top. From a business standpoint, Al is the one that got him over the top. Oscar got himself over the top after he left Top Rank.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So that's partially true. Burt Wood, G5 Flyers teams before games started, players pull off their gloves and go at it. Even fans throwing beer. It was Wild Wild West. This was the Philly Flyers fight. So what Burt Wood talking about is like them now those were real fights, like them hockey fights. I never understood how they could really be on ice skates and really be landing like consistent shots. Like dudes was doing pull counters and shit like with ice skates on, like it was crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Edward Castillo, they're not hated though. Fury is, and he's only really sold with Wilder, and that was the first fight. Since then, his numbers went down, and I'm hearing backlash for Fury saying I'm coming home and getting Dillian out.
Understand, British fans are very territorialist. Like they take pride in where they come from. What you have to understand is British fighters are going to take pride in this fight. It's the first time in boxing history you've got two Brits at the top of the heavyweight division, or three Brits at the top of the heavyweight division. And regardless how you want to say it, whilst Deontay Wilder is a massive name, in the UK, Dylan White is humongous. There's only one name bigger than Dylan White in the UK, and that's AJ. So it doesn't make a difference if this is the biggest fight in British boxing history. For the first time ever, you got two British heavyweights fighting for the #1 spot in the division. That's never happened, bro. So it has to be the biggest fight.
Quick question, Shane. If it's so big, why is Dillian White not naturally putting it based on the historical aspect that you aforementioned, and just because he has some power to show his power? I'll answer that by saying, where does he benefit by helping another promotional company get money? He doesn't benefit from it.
Well, can I play devil's advocate real quick? What's the difference between that and Floyd saying, I'm not going to go through this process to make another company rich? Is there a difference?
Historically,
your faces is priceless, yo. That's shit right there.
I mean, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Like, no, hold up. If you look at the history of boxing, do we not only remember the fights themselves, we remember the build-up as well, bro. So
Agreed.
If you're talking history for my guy's side of the planet, I don't know if it's a good move from Dilly and them to play church mouse at this particular time. That's just my personal opinion. Now that we're taking a look at the bigger picture.
All I'm saying is when Wilder did it, people ain't have a problem with it. They thought it was smart.
I mean,
that's not history. It's not history.
I agree, but I'm saying somebody recent history shows somebody else pulled this off and it was okay.
That trilogy will go down in history. No,
but he talking about the build-up though. Like there was no build-up for the third fight media-wise because Wilder didn't say shit. He didn't say nothing.
I know, but if
maybe too, I'll say this, it was the additional point too. You know what I mean? Because a lot of our fights are last-minute joints. They'll wait to the last 2 weeks, the last three weeks for the fight. We don't get that 60-day build-up like we just been hearing about this for 2 months.
I agree with you, Blunt, from a historical perspective.
Yeah, you're right.
But what I feel like you got to understand is I think Dylan White's pissed right now. So I don't think he cares. I think he's genuinely pissed off that he's getting 20%. And he's like, you know what? If I ain't selling this fight for you to make more money.
Yo, I'm not going to lie, yo. I'm not going to lie. Vlog, check this real quick, bro. If it's $41 million on the table and I'm only getting 8, I'm gonna have a problem with that too, yo. Even if I deserve just 8, I'm still gonna have a problem with it. Like I'm still gonna have a problem with it.
Can I say this to you that you say?
Yes, sir.
Is he gonna take that same argument into the next competition? Let's just speak hypothetically. Get that strap. You're gonna go into unification.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because Eddie Hearn's involved now. So he's gonna promote it like crazy. Yeah, he gonna promote it like crazy at this point. Yeah, absolutely. If he wins, Eddie, you gonna hear them hyping up the fight like nobody's business.
Especially if it's Dylan White versus AJ, bro. Bro, Eddie Hearn will be walking out with a tattoo on his face.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that's hypocritical, bro. And if I'm a media guy from that side and I'm part of my guy, he's a media guy from that side, I'm mad for the fans, bro. Like I'm at Eddie's door with like a candlelight visual.
I agree.
With my candlelight, like
Vlog, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong.
Blunt. Let me tell you something, Blunt. Here, if me and you are you still there, Blunt?
I'm with you. Right here.
If me, you, and Jeff start a company tomorrow, yeah, I can see. If me, you, and Jeff start a company tomorrow, and it's your friends, your people that's actually putting the money in, because that's what is proof. Dylan White's the money. He's the one that's going to generate the money, as Castillo said, and as we've seen from history from Dylan White's pay-per-view buys and ticket sales. And you're the one that's pumping the money into this. And we end up generating 41 million, Jeff. And Jeff is getting 20 million. I'm getting 15 million, and you're getting the chump change. Bro, you're gonna have a
problem with that.
Bro.
You're gonna have a
You're
problem
gonna be
with that,
pissed.
bro.
I understand what you're saying from a historical
You're gonna
perspective,
have a problem with that.
but you're gonna be pissed within yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna have a problem.
No, hold up. Let me get this in before everybody get pissed or they're going. What does more numbers, Thurman Barrios or Dillian White Fury?
In the UK or in America?
Over here, we talking over here for them guys originally. You know what I'm saying? So over here, can Barrios and Thurman do 150K? Because we estimated 150 for White and Fury. Yeah.
Nah, I think, to be honest with you, I think Thurman Barrios does under 100. I do. I think it does under 100.
I was thinking 110. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't put a tweet out or nothing like that, but that's a pretty average number, especially for a guy coming off a 15-year layoff.
I'm gonna say between 75 and 85,000. They do 75, 85,000.
In fact, Blunt, you're a hypocrite. Blunt, you're a hypocrite, bro. Blunt, you're a hypocrite.
Where the smoke come from?
Wait. Who was that fighter that was talking trash about Blunt?
There was a fighter that was talking trash
in
about
Malik Hawkins.
Okay, yeah. Let's say he made it famous of your quote, and then he made a load of money off that quote, and he didn't even give you a dime. Bro, you are gonna be pissed, bro. You're gonna be pissed, bro. There's no way you're gonna be happy. And you're forgetting Dylan White don't like Frank Warren. He don't like Tyson Fury. So these are his enemies, and they're making money off him like that, bro. You're gonna be pissed. There's no way you're gonna be happy about that, bro. You're gonna be.
All I can say is you're exactly correct, and I could have been a slight bit hypocritical when I'm looking at how he's doing it. But you also gotta understand, we media, bro. We're part of this new wave of media, so we need the clips. We need those moments that are historic.
I want it. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I want it.
Like I said earlier, bro, the dude is one of boxing's most interesting personalities. He's good when he's not even fighting. He's carrying the card, just being a part of the crowd and bringing up in outside people entertainment value and things like that, bro. So, like I said, bro, I mean, I don't know if that's gonna hurt Dale though. If he's that big of a character, the fans gonna need that personality to actually come out to the arena or show on TV. Like, you feel me? So I don't know if that's going to hurt the sales. I'm not. I mean, I your point saying I'm being a bit hypocritical. Like I said, I'm also looking at it from a media perspective.
Nah, from a media perspective, I 100% get you. But these guys have emotions as well, bro. They have emotions as well. But I get you.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just the common thought of that scenario where it's literally $41 million on the table, and people don't realize a couple of percentage points means the world. 20% is 8 million, 25% is 10.
Exactly.
You step the extra 5%, you probably got a very happy man right now. You understand what I'm saying? So there's really people, because I read a story, they said the AJ step aside money fell off in the 11th hour because he tried to skim him for an extra $5 million.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People's greed to get you, people's greed to lead to things.
Bro, that's how I know AJ is going to lose to Usyk, bro. If you're already thinking about your step side, he wants another color of them silk sheets, bro. They wanted 5 million extra, bro. He wants another color.
Listen, I told you, AJ got the only, he had the only silk sheets that's clear. Like, he'll have clear silk sheets, like just some custom shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that nigga gonna be laying on wove spider web, nigga. Extra white, nigga. Timestamp that, nigga. Timestamp that, nigga.
Yo, oh man, that is funny, yo. That is freaking funny, yo. Let me get these comments real quick. Where we at? Damn, that when you be killing, bro. You just need to come in the live, bro.
Literally, bro.
You be killing the comment section. Like, if I was remedial, I would have a problem right now because you make me read like a bug.
He got that voice text reader. He got a voice text for that dragon or something.
Yeah. No, I read that one. He said Crawford hasn't done anything to make himself a star, household name, and him blaming Aaron why it's not the promotion's job to make them a pay-per-view star. No, yes, it is.
I mean, what is the promotion's job?
Yes, what is the promotion's job then?
What is his job? One time. That's a rookie ass statement, Edwin, and we know you a lot more person than that, my dude. You just got to slip right there.
You've been around us long enough. You can't get away with that with us. That's the promoter's job.
What the hell is the promoter's job?
What is the promoter's job then? He said it's their publicist, manager, and them to go out to get people to want to see them.
Bro, your manager manages your career, bro.
Your manager manages your career. Your publicist handles more of the marketing side of things when it comes down to a fight. But to actually promote you, a promoter is supposed to promote. It is actually in the word, bro. This is not even up for debate. Like, that's what makes Eddie so good. When Don King was that good when it came down to it, because he was actually in these streets. When Bob Arum was younger, he was actually in these streets.
Bro.
He was in these streets. That is a promoter's technical job.
Like, I'm gonna send you a clip, bro. I don't think you've ever seen this, and I'll tell you this now. When Jeff says that if Eddie Hearn was Al Heyman's promoter, the game would be on 0 right now. There's a clip of Eddie Hearn in the middle of the market. They said, "I bet you can't sell 10 oranges." They put him on the market. The dude sells the oranges on the market, bro. In the market, he just sells oranges, and he's just in the middle of the market shouting to random people in the street, bro. I'll send it to you. This dude is a salesman, bro. He's a salesman, bro.
That's a promoter's job.
That's a promoter, bro.
At the end of the day, like, I know you used to. No, I never seen it. I know you used to the Al Heyman thing and how he operate and all that. No, like, that's the epitome of promoting. That's a promoter's job, bro. Adari said Frank Sanchez versus Joseph Parker would be a good one. I like that fight. I actually think if he fought Frank Sanchez the same way he fought Chisora in the second fight, he could get that dub. He could get that dub for sure. Edwin, he said the UK is territorial, Shane, and it's the root for their homegrown, right? Not a UK unite type thing, and Fury is hated by his own. Here, he's not loved that much, so pretty much only Dillian will be cheered.
You can say that, but 15,000 people went from the UK to America for the second Wilder fight, bro.
Yeah, 15,000. Yeah, I think you're underestimating.
Let me say this.
Yes.
I could see him saying 15,000 because it's probably 15,000 people that got in their caravans and migrated over because gypsies travel. So,
the thing is, if they're able to do that, then they're going to
technically correct too, because gypsies don't have a home. So maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Because he never really state claimed anything.
But that's the thing, though. If they're gonna take their caravans and 15,000 going to come over here, then guaranteed about 20 to 25 is going to go. Like, they're going to go.
I'm going to the flip side where he's saying he's hated. He's probably hated because he's never staked claim to that.
Yeah, but that's gonna sell though.
That's gonna sell, bro.
That's gonna sell. Yeah, that's gonna sell. Hatred sells. That's gonna sell, like, for sure. Edwin Castillo, Thurman versus Barrios would do 20,000 if they lucky. God damn, Edwin. There's no way they do more than the cash cow, and his last pay-per-view did maybe 50,000 only. Damn, Hot Dog Nose is sweating bullets if you guys think he'd do more.
I'll say this. That card is more enticing.
Facts.
The card
And it wasn't on a football night as well. It's not on the night of football.
Yeah, it's a good card. It's a good card. It's a good card. Like 20,000, you disrespectful for that
In
though.
fact,
Like
I should even call it football. I
yeah.
should call it NFL. That's what I call it, NFL.
Edwin, you gotta just come on the show, bro. Like stop beating around the bush, stop running. Just link up with us, bro. Edwin Castillo, wait, 41 mil isn't it supposed to be used for the entire card? It's just to buy the rights for that one fight. Absolutely.
No. The 41 million just fight.
It's just for the fight. Yeah, bro. Logic
Ain't
in the building.
They ain't even no undercard right
Ain't
now.
even no undercard.
Now.
They gonna get Ricky Hatton's son and a couple other people for like 2,000 pounds, and they gonna fight. Logic, or they might get Ted Cheeseman to fight a 12 round for like $4,500.
Literally,
like, Logic. Big shout out to Logic. I don't know if I seen Logic in the building.
like button, hit the subscribe button. Go over to Blunt. What's Blunt on now, bro? I need him to be on 1,000. What's he on now, bro? If he's on 1,000 right now, I'm going shop and buying a bottle.
Blunt is at 995.
So bro, you guys only gone one, bro. You guys go over there and subscribe. Boxing First Vlog. Boxing First Vlog. There's a few of you guys in the comments, bro. Go over now. Go and subscribe. Get that to 1,000 by the end of the live, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to wait till tomorrow to crack the bottle open.
Logic. I'm trying to.
You'll be
trying to get a drink, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to get a drink. That's what I'm trying to get right now.
Logic said, didn't Aram get Crawford multiple division titles and undisputed fights? Agreed, though, Aram should have done better job promoting. So let me speak. Let me actually speak on this, yo. And people not gonna like what I'm getting ready to say, but it's a fact. Bob Arum has actually put Terrence Crawford in more favorable positions on the come up than Al did Spence. I'm going to say that again. Everything that Terrence Crawford wanted from Bob Arum, he got it. He got a chance to unify. He was a champion in multiple divisions. He got him a home game, right? He had 2 home games, right? He had 2 home games.
The undisputed fight was in Omaha as well.
Yes, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 3 home games in his career. He's been a pay-per-view headliner, and he's been the main event on ESPN a number of times. So I asked this question: what else could Bob have done outside of getting Terrence Crawford fights against PBC guys?
Manny.
But if Manny don't sign up for the fight, then what can he do? Because Manny was offered a nice bag though.
Then you call him out for it.
Yeah, but whose fault is that though?
You call, if I'm Bob Arum and you don't take that fight, you call him out for it.
Yeah, but that's not Crawford's fault though.
Let me say this. If you got Sean Porter at the point you got Sean Porter, you could have gotten somebody else from Crawford Street.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree.
Like who?
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
Who else is across?
You had to give me an example because I'm not seeing it right now. You had to give me an example of that, bro. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna come over to your side of the street. I just don't see it at the moment. You gotta give me an example.
There's only one dude at PBC at that time that was a bigger name than Sean Porter, or better for the division wise in terms of a better fighter than Sean Porter, and that's Errol.
The only thing, and the only reason I'm saying this vlog is because it's just the way Al operates from a business perspective. He don't let his guys go across the street unless he has no benefit for them on his side of the street. So let's look into that a little bit further. Go ahead, vlog. Go ahead.
No, that's why I said you can give that invitation because Sean Porter came to the other side. That platform, that fight per se was really platformed ESPN and promoted through ESPN more than PBC or any other supporting streaming network.
Right. So check me out on this one. So at the time that Sean Porter got the Terrence Crawford fight, right? What could Al Heyman offer Sean Porter on that side of the street to where he would have actually made money with Sean? And it was a big fight.
The Porter rematch, the Spence rematch. That would
Had an eye
been
injury, bro.
But
Spence had an eye injury.
yeah, he was out.
at the time. Let's see. Shit, you might got me on that one at the time.
And vlog, and see, I'm talking to you different now because you almost at 1,000. Like the 700 vlog, I'd have told you it was a ditch, and I'm about to walk you right into it.
No,
I 1,000. I gotta talk to you a little different now. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? It was nothing that they could offer Sean that was gonna provide Al a bag. So when Danny Jacobs went over to DAZN, he was still under Al, but he had nothing to offer Danny Jacobs. He had nothing to offer. The reason why he got Canelo over is because he had nothing at 168. Like the only thing he could do was overpay Canelo, and basically you basically selling you basically sold Caleb Plant's belt. Like you sold it. Like in a sense, you like literally sold Martin. It. Like Charles Martin, like he sold that belt to AJ. Like he sold it to the highest bidder. I'm just saying that because I'm like, I know how Al Heyman operates. It's not the fact that you don't have a point. Al is going to go, he's going to send somebody across the street when he has no other options on his side of the street.
Facts. So that's that's what he's doing with AB right now. That's why AB can negotiate with Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, so even when, because I remember Wyatt Sim was on not that long ago, and he was saying there's more people that go over from Al's camp that goes over to the other side of the street. The part that he left out is that they go over to the other side of the street when they have no other options.
Yeah,
that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So Edwin, I mean, to go back to your point, like when it comes down to it, what more could Bob have done outside of getting him the Manny fight? The thing is, you fighting Manny doesn't turn you. It doesn't guarantee that you turn into a superstar.
That's a fact.
Tim Bradley fought him a couple times. He never became.
But he didn't beat him though. He didn't beat him.
Yeah, but his name never even became bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not a guarantee. Like, even when people fought Floyd, they didn't become superstars. They was just the opponent.
But if you beat them, it's different.
I guess not if you beat them.
Not necessarily, because Horn beat Pacquiao and he didn't
become right. So I think it just got to be in the cards for you. It's got to be in the cards for you. You know
I think there has to be that fight. I think if Crawford fights Errol and beats Errol, I think he becomes a superstar. I could be wrong, but I think so. Maybe.
It's a chance. It's a chance. It's a chance. Logic didn't Aram get Crawford? Oh no, I've read that one. I'm sorry, Edwin. Then every fighter that is under Al could sue them. Their job is to fund the card. They're gonna have Edwin. They're gonna have enough chump change to put an undercard on. Trust me. He's talking
about I don't know what he's talking about, bro. I think he's talking about the fact that Manny Pacquiao didn't promote Bob Arum didn't promote him, and he's saying he didn't do the job as a promoter, and I'm saying,
but
Al Heyman's not a promoter.
Yeah, it's skewed. Like it's skewed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's technically not a promoter, but when it come down to be like who's the promoter of the year, a lot of people say Al.
At the end of the day, no one will sue Al Heyman because he's paying these dudes ridiculous.
Yeah. Logic said, is Mayweather Promotions promoting Rolly, or is Rolly recognized for his personality and skills in front of the camera? So Logic, that's a good point. So you have some guys like Rolly that promote themselves. It always helps to promote yourself, but it's still going to take Mayweather Promotions to put him on the upper echelon of promoting. You understand what I'm saying? Because no matter how crazy Rolly is, if Rolly is on camera with Floyd for 3 or 4 videos, that's going to do more than Rolly acting a fool in 20 videos.
Can I say this though?
Yes, sir.
He request that the media platforms call him Rolando. So just out of due respect, we'll try to call the man Rolando. He grown ass man. He done been through some things in these streets now. So He said he wanted to drop the Rolly moniker. I'm just saying what the man then requested. He say you
that's so I will
until Rolly addresses me personally, I'm gonna keep calling this dude Rolly.
listen. If no, I will respect the man's wishes, but if I say Rolly, like I just said, Rolly, it's just gonna take me a little bit of time to get adjusted to Rolando. So I will respect the man's wishes, but if you hear a couple Rollies come out, is not in the form of disrespect.
Moving past Rolly, let's go to the comment section.
Damn, bro, I'm getting there, brother.
Shane, you ain't shit.
Shane is like that's ice cold Shane, boy. That is ice cold Shane.
I'm not a Rolly fan.
You know when Shane pissed off, he be like, man, just get to the comments.
I ain't a Rolly fan, bro. I ain't a Rolly fan. I'm not a Rolly fan.
Damn, bro. Jay Banks in the building. Big shout out to Jay Banks. I gotta actually hit you up too. I actually got a little proposal for you too, Jay Banks. I gotta hit you up. I'll hit you up off camera though. Edward Castillo, bro, Ortiz versus walking this universe like a god did 20,000. That's funny. Yo, my peoples, Dwayne Sewell, what's going on? He said, yes, get vlog to 1,000. Yeah, vlog gonna be at 1,000 by tomorrow, man. I might crack this bottle open at 12 midnight for sure. Edwin Castillo, Ortiz hit dude so hard and turned sideways like if he was waiting for the light rail pick him up. That's funny. He said Logic said offers made to Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman by Top Rank both rejected. That doesn't get reported though. Like they make offers to Al just rejects them. Edwin said I'm on my tablet. Would I need a PC computer or some kind of software to get on the stream?
You can use your phone or your tablet.
Your phone, tablet. You just got to get with us on social media or something so I can actually send you the link and then you could just jump on.
TV all over the place, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Logic said, isn't it the same if Top Rank couldn't make Crawford Pack as PBC not being able to make Spence Thurman unification?
No, different.
Because Thurman didn't want the fight, same as Pack.
Different.
Yeah, like it's. But see, the thing is though, like yeah, Crawford and Pack wasn't unification. You know what I'm saying? Like Pack ain't had no belt. You know what I'm saying? So
Thurman is always being known as for ducking Spence, and he's lost a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, but the thing was, Keith Thurman was doing what he was supposed to do at the time. He was playing A side like Spence does right now. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, when Thurman did it, he got criticized for it. You know what I mean?
This went longer than I thought it was, bro. We supposed to been in here in and out like a fart.
Bro, we are getting ready to be. We are getting ready to get out of here, but this joint went about a good 45 minutes longer than I thought. Like that's why I don't ever predict these joints, man. I'll be like, man, we gonna be in and out, man. We be in, like, you know what I mean? Logic, he said, why couldn't PBC make Thurman Spence unification? A lot of that, bro, was because
Thurman just didn't want the fight.
Yes, Thurman didn't want the fight, like, because he felt like he was bigger than Spence. So now Spence is in the driver's seat. So now he's giving Thurman the same treatment. It's just petty shit. Bert, he said, I heard when AJ lost to Andy, people said the judges should keep in mind AJ had a long flight from England, and the judges were not black but Mexican. That's funny. That is funny. Edwin said, my bad, I meant Sue Aram, since there are a lot of fighters that's not just Aram, but other promoters have guys that don't even get to fight for months, and the ones that do aren't stars. But that goes back to what we were saying before, bro. The guys that make less money, they're gonna get more opportunities because they can pay them. You know what I'm saying? The guys that got the high guarantees, they only can put them on but so much because they got a high guarantee and they don't bring the money back. You know what I'm saying? That's like me giving you work and you either got to bring the work back or you got to bring the money back. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do neither one, it's a loss. Am I right, Vlog?
Every time.
Yeah, if you don't bring a return, it's a loss. You know what I'm saying? He said I could be wrong about that promoter thing. Never looked until now about it. Edwin, so you learned something new today. You know what I'm saying? Clarence McLean in the building. What's going on, bro?
I feel this nigga changes his profile picture fast.
Yeah, Clarence McLean, man, we gotta get you on, bro. We gotta get you on. Adari said Francis versus Wilder would be fireworks. Francis
Or
wouldn't last.
in boxing or UFC.
He wouldn't last 2 rounds in boxing. I'll tell you that
Well,
much.
Yeah.
that even thought to take a back seat because your boy having knee surgery. So him in a boxing ring is
Didn't Ngannou win?
that's so far fetched.
Yeah, Ngannou won.
He won.
Ngannou won, but he had issue. He had a knee going into the fight. That's why he had to wrestle more in that fight.
Yeah. Burt Woods said G5. Let's say fighter agrees to fight for $1 after paying ref, trainer, IRS, coach, manager, ex-wife, cut man, ring girls. Listen, that's a charity fight, Burt. That's a charity fight for sure. Clarence McClain said for sure. Yeah, we're gonna have to work something out, get you on, bro. And the thing is, Clarence McClain is big on the amateur scene as well on the East Coast. So I think that's a good person to actually have on. Edwin said Francis versus Wilder, laughing. Battle of shadow boxing of two guys with limited skills, good at KOs, but would they engage?
Wilder that do that into
Wilder, yeah, Wilder would get extension on that jab straight right hand. That's gonna be a wrap. Logic said Crawford with top rank, multi-division, undisputed champ, pound for pound recognition. Spence with PBC at welterweight 10 years and can unify 3 titles in PBC. I think Bob Arum. I think, like I said, Bud Crawford has accomplished more with top rank than Spence has with PBC. And that's the fact. But the only difference is that Top Rank is not a pay-per-view model and PBC is. That's really the difference. Like it's really simple. People try to make it complicated. It is that simple at the end of the day.
It's apples versus oranges. Which you prefer?
Right. Facts. That's 100% facts. To be honest with you, the majority of Spence's career, he didn't get what he wanted. He just started getting what he wanted like 2 years ago.
It's like even
You know what I'm saying?
It's like with Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather. You know, Floyd Mayweather got that bag, but I'm not talking about Pretty Boy Floyd. I'm talking about Money Mayweather. Yeah. Money Mayweather didn't really have those marquee fights. You know, I mean marquee fights, he didn't have like the tough fan fights that people were like hardcore fights, like the Kovalev fight or the Abraham fight or the fights that Ward had where you go, wow, you know, or the Kessler fight or those fights that Froch fight, those fights where you can dominate a division, clean a division out. You know, Floyd didn't, Money Mayweather didn't clean out a division.
Let me say this, my dude. Hold up, though. I did a video about a year or so back, and I asked the question, who's don't that have more glaze on it? Do you know these motherfuckers had a copyright put on my shit? And I didn't have no fucking video in that shit whatsoever. This nigga Floyd had a copyright put on my fucking video. I said,
bro, you should have sent that to me, bro. I would have got that sorted for you, bro.
Listen,
bro.
No, they literally, they put a copyright claim on when we went live for Spence and Porter. No, what was that? That was Spence and Porter, right? We did all the numbers on. They put copyright claims on that like a year and a half later. I had it private and everything. I was like, Al got that juice, man. He came in 100 G5 down in the private section, man. I said, God damn, bro. I said, damn. I said, I already did my numbers, man. I did like 15K off that, man. Like, leave me the fuck alone.
I think I had about 300 subs. I'm like, bro, what is y'all doing to me on here?
Bro, you done more than 15,000, bro. You done like 100, bro.
Oh, do you remember? I did a buck in that joint. Yeah. It was like 100.
You had 15.
I was thinking of Broner.
You had 15,000 at one time.
At one time. Yeah.
That live
was lit. Edward Castillo, he once we all get matching no boxing, no life, matching shirts and sombreros, that will be a lit podcast for real though. Hopefully one day soon. Now the no boxing, no life shirts, I'm definitely down with that. But the sombrero though,
bro, no boxing, no life is Canelo's Canelo's brand, bro.
Yo, I promise you, bro. I got a screenshot in my phone where I actually have a design for a shirt before Canelo came out with it.
That
Like
says
real
no
rap.
boxing, no life.
And it was before he came out with it. And I never did anything with it. I'm gonna send you the screenshot and the
Crazy.
date. I'm gonna send you the screenshot and the date.
Everybody knows what I'm getting on my first shirt, and that's Blunt's quotes, bro. Any Blunt quote, I have a favorite. I have a personal favorite, and my personal favorite is what Edwin Castillo always does to Canelo. That's my personal favorite, bro. You guys
Yeah,
already know,
you
bro.
know, yeah. Big
Let's say
Brian
this,
name a
bro.
great form of
Tapped in on
transportation.
your boy and all that shit
Yeah,
too,
joint
bro.
going. It sound like you in Mars again, bro.
Man, it's
We about to get up off here anyway. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Adari said PBC plus Showtime plus Top Rank equals should just join forces, team up, merge, makes sense for boxing. It's they too greedy, bro. That's too
Bro,
greedy. They
it's
too greedy.
bro.
I know you spoiled by watching Shane vlog and myself team up, but what we're doing is not common.
I mean,
Like
I would wish that I could team
so.
up with Alicia Baumgardner and her sister, but that's only in my dream. You
Yeah,
know,
that's a
but
fact. And big shout out. I got a new stallion. I'm checking out, man. Raquel Miller, man. Raquel Miller is a stallion, bro. Like, I think I showed you her, Shane.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, Raquel Miller is a straight stallion. Like, now that's my lane. Like thickums like that. Yeah, that's my lane, bro. Like for sure. Um Edwin said, I know my boy vlog is down. He was tweaking in and out. I think he good now though. Clarence said, call me Jeff. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you because we gotta talk some amateur boxing. For sure. And he's giving these amateur guys a platform too, man. That's what I like about Clarence McLean, man, because there ain't nobody giving them a platform because it ain't no real money
Yeah,
train
bro.
behind it.
Yeah, I got. Now you just said that. I got an idea for that, bro. You know what we got cooking? I got an idea for that.
So I
That's a
might have to
good
put
idea.
you on. I might have to put you on the line with him because his joint is his joint popping.
When we
Like for
sort
sure.
out what we have to sort out, that's a good idea, bro. That's a good
Yeah, for sure, man. But
and
listen,
my
we gonna
we caught up.
idea.
yeah.
All right. What fight's gonna be on the joint this week, man? We gotta throw some names out there. You tweaking the site this week?
I've already tweaked it. I just ain't published it. I already tweaked it. So far we got Williams versus Eubank. We got um Furman versus Barrios, Neri versus Castro. What's the other fight on it? Leo Santa Cruz versus Carvajal, and that's it so far. But obviously it was gonna be Josecito. That fight got cancelled. It was gonna be Beefy versus
Vargas, that's
Vargas.
canceled.
That
That's
got pushed
canceled.
back and cancelled. There was a top rank card that got pushed back to March the
They
5th.
said you had something to do with that vlog. That's the rumor.
Don't put
That's
me
the
in that.
rumor on the street. They said Beefy
Man,
wasn't
my
having a
name.
good camp. They said Beefy wasn't having a good camp. They said vlog said, yo, hold on, we gotta
And the last one,
Hey,
wrong
hey, I'm
beside.
gonna tell you this. My name, yes, I ain't in that mess, man. I ain't got nothing to do with it, man.
So there's five fights on the card.
Yeah.
5 fights.
There's a couple of little undercard
Bella
you might have to take a look at too, bro.
I'm good. Clarence McLean, Shane, let's go. Said Keith Thurman versus Barrios. The Quota's fighting too. That's a fact.
Yeah,
That's
she's
a fact.
fighting, but
Yeah.
I want to see her versus Savannah Marshall. That's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah, Burt Wood. How much does fighters go home with money wise if he agrees to fight for $1.05 on a dollar? He'll have a bill. He'll have an invoice that he gotta pay. You know what I mean? He's walking home with nothing. He's walking home with a bill. Yeah, man. So we gonna end it right there, man. 2 hours and 9 minutes strong.
What's Blood on right now? Let's get a quick check. See if these guys listen or these guys just define.
995. So we
Still,
got 5 more to go. We got 5 more to go,
tomorrow
man.
morning,
So
tomorrow morning, tomorrow
tomorrow
morning.
morning he'll be at 1,000. You know,
Blunt, I
I'm gonna
want to
have
see
my,
you drop a blunt truth, bro. Drop a
yeah, I'm gonna
blunt
have my
truth.
I'm gonna have my champagne. You know,
Let's keep it Shane. Let's keep it real, Shane. It ain't funky in the streets, man. I don't really see no friction out there that I need to chime in on.
Bro,
But you know what happened.
Jeff was gonna drop a blunt truth on Dylan White. Like if I was
I
Dylan White,
was. I said, yeah, I was gonna go off. I said I had to name it something else though, but yeah, I'm gonna go off on that one, bro. But vlog, give me social media before you get up out of here, bro.
Y'all did on the street boxing first vlog, boxing the #1 ST vlog on Instagram. Look me up. You know, I got work all over the board. Got a new article coming. Obviously, fight reactions, fight previews. Tap in with us, man. We street work. You know what it is.
Absolutely. Shane, give me your social media, bro.
I'm Shane the #1. I'm just working on some back deals right now. Just working, bro. Just
Yeah,
keeping active,
working.
trying to get the team to a strong place right now.
Yeah, so big shout out to Shane for hard work he does behind the scenes, which is really some of the hardest things you can do. Because it's like what you do behind the scenes may not necessarily come to the light. I mean, of course, we're gonna make sure that it does, but you know, those are the ones that really keep the ball rolling. I am gonna make this announcement though. I am gonna be starting a VP Shane burner account on Twitter, and I'll be controlling that shit myself. So VP Shane will officially be on Twitter, trying to negotiate terms with Shane right now. So within the next week or so, we're gonna make that happen. And if
I'll see
anybody
what I can do, bro.
and if
I'll see what
anybody
I can do.
listen, I'm putting this out there now. If anybody fuck with Shane on Twitter, they gotta see me and vlog, and you don't want them type problems. Like you definitely don't want them type problems.
What do you say, Blunt?
I said, you know, my pull-up game is crazy. So
Yeah. So
I'll let
you
you
don't
know.
want them. You don't want them type problems, man. So you know, make sure you respectful. Watch your mouth. Watch your tone. You know what I'm saying? We'll come down to Shane at the end of the day. 'Cause we will be at a fight near you and we will pull up like for sure, right at the concession stands, like for sure. You know what I'm saying? Edwin says, salute fam, good night. Adari, fantasy matchup, Larry Holmes versus George Foreman, prime for prime. Who wins? That's a good question. Am I going Larry Holmes?
Holmes, bro.
I'm going
Holmes, bro.
Holmes. I'm going Holmes because
Holmes,
he gonna
bro.
jab circles around
Holmes,
him.
bro.
He gonna jab
Holmes is
circles
my
around him.
favorite heavyweight of all
Holmes,
time, bro.
hey,
Holmes,
before
bro.
we go, Holmes or Foreman in a prime, who you got? I'm going Larry Holmes, man.
Knocking his block off, bro.
Yeah, Larry
Like
Holmes.
Foreman knocking his block
Foreman ain't gonna
off,
be able
bro.
to catch him. Foreman ain't gonna be able to catch him.
Bro,
Man, you
Holmes
crazy. He
is
caught
beating.
Ali, bro.
Huh?
Holmes,
He caught Ali. He can catch Holmes.
nah, he ain't catching Holmes, bro.
Nah,
Bro,
not a
Holmes'
prime Holmes.
footwork wasn't that great, bro. Holmes'
Yo,
footwork is not that great, bro. Y'all is tripping.
Holmes is, to me, bro. Holmes in his prime was a bro. The only person I could see beating Holmes in his prime was Leonard Lewis, bro. Holmes in his prime was a nasty piece of work, bro.
Footwork wasn't that great, bro. You got Philip coming.
bro, Larry Holmes
Holmes.
footwork was top notch, bro.
It's
Bro
better than
was in
Foreman,
attack
bro.
mode.
It's better than Foreman.
In attack mode, coming forward, jabbing, working behind that jab. Yeah, I'm talking about having to back up, work that jab.
Bro, Foreman's footwork was slow, bro. It's slow, bro. Slow.
Before I go, man, I gotta give out some shout outs, man. Big shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. Big shout out to her sister. Big shout out to Raquel Miller. Vlog, you got any females you need to shout out, bro?
Hold on. I just bumped on one up on Day. She just followed me. Let me look her up real queasy.
Hopefully ain't a catfish, bro.
No, she a fighter. Her name is Kendra Menace. Kendra Menace.
Big shout out to Kendra Menace. I'm gonna give a shout out to Pink Furry Goddess as well. Big shout out to Pink Fairy Goddess. I'm trying to think. Am I forgetting anybody?
Kiki,
Big shout out to Kiki. I got a
Actually,
little Ashley.
Ashley.
I got a little thing for Kiki. She a little
and who else is there? You got Jay Banks, even though we've never seen her before, but
Jay Banks. And we got Ada Biggs too. Ada Biggs a monster too.
I ain't
Um,
seen her before.
no, I did show
Nah,
you her,
bro,
bro.
pause on everything, bro.
I
Pause on
showed you her.
everything. Knockouts, bro. Knockouts, Jeff. Knockouts. You know what I'm talking about?
Who you talking about?
Knockouts. Knockouts with Nike.
Oh, knockouts with Nike. Big shout out to knockouts
Bro,
with
big
Nike.
shout out to Knockouts with Nike, bro.
That's
Bro,
it.
when I found out she was 40, I was thinking, bro, someone must have put me
Yeah,
in a time machine, bro.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
She a cool piece of work. Like she definitely a cool piece of work, man. Like, um, yeah. So it's a couple. The female game is definitely in a good space
It's
right now.
diverse.
So it's very
Diverse.
diverse. It's very diverse, and that's the way we like it.
Yeah, let's get
Um,
out of here, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
bro, I'm trying to get some sleep,
Hold.
bro.
He said, did you see my message? Where's the message? Um. Oh my God, Edwin Castillo said Klitschko the best heavyweight of all
I
time,
ain't getting
bro.
into that, bro.
I'm not getting into that. You trying to keep us on longer, man. I already know what you're trying to do, man. Listen, on behalf of the staff, man, Boxing First Vlog, aka the General, aka Blunt, aka Blunt Bayless, aka Mr. 1K, and my man VP Shane, your boy G5 Jeff TV. We will be on tomorrow. We'll figure out the topic when we get here. We out.